Hi everybody, I am Husky Lights. Thank you for stopping by. Right, where do I begin with this? Now I was going to make this video earlier on in the week, but I wanted to, and I did that 3-day fast. I wanted to think about this before I did it. I wanted to go inward a little bit on the messages that I'd received, etc. So I had some major sort of synchronicities happen around the beginning of the week. When did I start my fast? It was a 3-day fast. Finished it this morning, Friday, so Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. It was Tuesday, just gone. I had some major synchronicities, and it took me a little while to sort of figure out what was actually going on here, or what was being said, and I still completely haven't figured it out, so I don't have all the answers. Your guides and angels can give you some pretty strange messages sometimes, and I suppose you can either choose to follow them or choose to not follow them, but I 100% sort of trust in my guides and angels, so usually if they tell me to do something, I will do it. And then usually, and I may not know why I'm doing or why they're talking to me like that and why they're sending me those messages, but then afterwards I'll find out. Excuse me, I've actually got a sore throat a little bit since I did that fast. Lots more water. So Tuesday, I'm out with my daughter. We're at the hospital visiting her dad because he's had major heart surgery, and I get a text from a friend of mine who's down south to me. I live sort of in the centre of the country, and she lives sort of towards London, sort of down south. Anyway, I'm walking through the hospital with my daughter on the way to go and see to the ward where her dad is, and I get this message through, which is all the shelves in the supermarkets are empty, stock up. Okay, that's a pretty big text to send. And I text back and said, "Are you serious?" And she texts back and said, "Yeah, all the Kentucky Fried Chicken places have shut. They've got no meat either." Now, the Kentucky Fried Chicken stores having no meat does not bother me whatsoever, and it doesn't bother my friend. It's like, yay to the chickens, they're standing up for themselves, but it was the fact that she said stock up. Now, me and a lot of my subscribers, actually, a lot of people I do know, you know, we do tend to stock up sometimes, or we do try to, or we do say to ourselves, do you know what, I really need to stock up a little bit of food. We live in a technological world, and we rely so heavily on the technological stuff, on our computers and our Wi-Fis and our cars and our telephones and our mobiles and everything else, that if something was to happen, if something was to go wrong, either on a personal basis, like the electric going out or something, or even on a global basis, where a certain area we have lights out or something, can we cope if that happens? And the answer is no. Most of us live from paycheck to paycheck. Most of us have only a maximum of maybe 3 days supply of food before we need to go out and buy more. Some of us it's less. For me, it's I just do it on a daily basis, so I don't even really have 3 days worth. So for my friend to send that message through, it was very serious for her to actually send me that message and say what she said. She wouldn't say it lightly. I also want to speak about the universal consciousness as pertaining to the area that you are in, and that moment of time that you are in as well. Now, I know, because I heard the news later on, that the Kentucky Fried Chicken shops, the KFCs down south, a lot of them had closed because there was deliveries had been messed up, or whatever the reason was. And there was a lot of people in London who were completely worried about it. They were getting worried. They were calling Scotland Yard. They were getting a little bit anxious about it and wondering what's going on. But they were having a completely different experience to the one I was having further up north in another part of the country. In my part of the country, there was nothing going on. Everything was fine. Life is carrying on as normal. Now, again, my friend, for her to be saying that, she'd also seen that the supermarket shelves were empty. Now, it may have been that they were just between stocking up the supermarket shelves. But for her to be in that moment, then that's a completely different story for her than it is for me. This is what I'm trying to sort of put across to everybody. We each have our own experience in the moment. Now, as I was waking up, yes, I freaked out plenty of times. There were times when I went into a fight or flight response to things. I would watch something on YouTube about an economic collapse, or I'd watch it about, I don't know, the Nephilim coming, or something awful happening, some sort of crisis, and I would go into fight or flight mode because of my awakening, because of the synchronicities I was seeing at the same time, and because of everything else and me not understanding any of it. I used to think it was now. I used to think, oh my God, it's happening right now. And I used to freak out about it. Now, over time, it's been 4 years since I woke up. Over time, I've learned to calm down, to know that my guides and angels support me at all times. The universe will never give me anything more than I can handle, even though sometimes it may feel like it, but there's always a reason for it. And the fact that I'm safe, that everything's fine, as long as I go with the flow, as long as I, follow their guidance to a certain extent, I'm good, I'm fine, and my family are fine, and that's great. So that's the way I am about things now. Obviously, if I get a really weird synchronicity, sometimes I will worry a little bit, or sometimes I will freak out. But this video is not to scare anybody whatsoever. So anyway, she'd sent me this text. Now, in her little world in the supermarket with empty shelves, plus the collective consciousness of the area that she lives in, being freaked out about KFC closing down, etc., then things look a lot worse than where I am. To me, it's all normal. So I sort of sent her a message back and sort of jokingly said, what, today? When I'm on the first day of my fast, things would happen. I don't believe it. And my van's not working at the moment, and something would happen. Now, my angels wouldn't do that to me. My guides wouldn't do that to me. So that was the message. Supermarket shelves are empty, stock up. So, and she did calm down after. We're all at different stages in our awakening, all at different stages, and it only takes one person around you to set you off if you're going through an awakening process. That's the other thing as well, or to watch one negative thing, or to go into this fight or flight response. So I completely understood where she's coming from. But I had my daughter with me. I'm in the hospital. I don't want to worry my daughter. So my daughter's sort of saying to me, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? I said, my friend down south says maybe we need to stock up with a little bit of food. But at the moment, we're in the hospital. There is nothing I can do at this moment. We're going to go and see your dad. Say hello to him. And when we've been to see your dad, then I will figure out what I'm going to do and how things are going to go. And I said, in the meantime, while we're seeing your dad, maybe I get another text from my friend down south saying, hey, it's all right, I'm overreacting, or, things were getting a little bit, things on a collective consciousness level down south, are getting a little bit hectic. So I try to stay as calm as possible about it. I don't want to worry anyone. And I said to my daughter, I said, you know what? I said, if my guides and angels want us to stock up, they will tell us to stock up. And that's all there is to it. So we're walking towards the ward where her dad is, and as we go to the ward, there's a door on the right hand side, and it's got a huge white sign on the door which said the following. I'll show you what it said. So as you can see, it said, that was exactly the way it was written, store feed, store food. Me and we both saw it at the same time, and we stared at it, and obviously after the text that we'd had, we went, whoa, okay, that's a little strange, that's just a little strange. Okay, so I sort of said laughingly, I said, well, maybe we do need to stock up a little bit. That's absolutely fine, no problem. So we go into the ward to see her dad. We're sat chatting to him. He's doing a lot better, and I think he sort of toddles off to the bathroom. And while we're sat next to an empty bed, he's got a couple of books on the bed. So I said to my daughter, I said, oh, what's your dad reading at the moment? And she picks up the book and got quite upset quite quickly, because this was what the book was that he was reading. She was slightly worried at this point. For me, in my world of synchronicities, this is quite normal. So I don't tend to completely get upset by these things anymore. So we've got store feed, which was there as we walked in, and then this book, which is the store. My friend texted me saying store food. So anyway, I think the gist of this video is to follow your guides and angels, to listen to what they say. Now, was that a result of my thoughts manifesting what came out into reality? I don't think so. It could have been, but I just believe that I was being given advice from my guides and angels on this occasion. And I think it's a good idea. I did go and do a little bit of stocking up today, about a few days later, but I went and stocked up. I want to follow my guides and angels, advice. And as I said, this might not be for everybody. Some of us feel that we have no need whatsoever to go and stock up for anything, for any eventuality. This could have been very well a personal message for me from my guides and angels saying stock up. Maybe I'm going to have a bad snowstorm where I live later on in the week, and maybe I'm going to get snowed in, or maybe something is going to happen within my personal life that means I need to have extra food in the house. It could also be a message that I need to get out to everybody else as well. I really don't know, but I thought I'd share it and see what your comments are and things like that. But we do live in a technological age. We do rely heavily on things, and if one thing goes down, where are we with that, and how would we cope if that actually happened? So maybe it's just a logical precaution to take for all of us, if we've got a little bit of extra, or even if we haven't, to try and stock up a little bit. I stocked up today on tins, on a big bag of rice, a huge bag of pasta, tins of vegetables, things that keep for a long time. And believe me, those tins of vegetables, I wouldn't touch them unless there was a severe emergency, because I don't like tinned stuff. But it keeps a long time, and I got the cheapest type as well, which doesn't cost much, and it can just sit there in the cupboard, So I wanted to share it because I felt like it was such a big synchronicity that was going on, a big message that was coming through for me. I don't know if it's on a personal basis. I don't know if it's on a bigger basis. I do know that we control the way we react to things. We can control the way we react to situations. We can control our emotions in the way we deal with things. We can, and this is a learning process, this is something that happens as we go through the awakening, and we can choose to look at something in a negative way or a positive way as well. So under no circumstances anybody get worried. I think it's I don't know if it's personal or whether it's for everybody, but I wanted to share it. And I also just wanted to show you as well how synchronicities happen for me. Sometimes they it's very, very whoa, very quick in the way that they happen, and they're glaringly obvious as well. It's not like you really have to work out those signs that have come through after I get a text, and sometimes the messages, they come in to help me as well very much. If you remember my cat video, when unfortunately I saw that cat being run over, and I had to stop and rescue the cat and get it to the vets. It's in my feed somewhere in one of my videos. And then for the rest of the day, because I'd seen that, I drove quite slowly. Now later on in the day, that little child ran out in front of me in the car while I was driving. Now had I been driving at my normal speed, I would have hit the child and probably doesn't even bear thinking about. But because I was driving extra slowly, simply because of the cat in the morning and that episode, then that child was absolutely fine. I was able to stop right, like that far away from the little child, get out the car, pick him up and take him back into the garden that he'd come out from. So the universe do come and put messages there. They do come and put things in front of you to help you. Sometimes they can't stop a situation. Sometimes they can't stop a situation, but they can, because it's part of your learning, it's part of your evolution, your personal life path. But they can certainly come in and help slow something down or help make it a little bit better than it could have been had they not been around. So whenever I get a message through from my guides and angels, usually I don't quite understand until after the fact, and then I'll understand. This one I don't quite understand at the moment, but I'm following their advice, and I thought I'd share this with you. So I hope, it's a quick little story. It's a quick little story, and I've gone out and done some extra shopping. We'll go from there, but yeah, I wanted to share that with you. But it did take me a few days to sort of just integrate it and how to speak to you about it, actually, because I don't want anyone to be worried. It might be completely personal for me, and if anything happens, I'll let you know. Hopefully I don't get snowed in. Hopefully, it isn't. Maybe I'm going to go through a rough patch with money or something, and I hate saying things like that, because usually if I say things, and I need that extra stock of food, whatever the reason is, but it was for my daughter to see it at the same time and experience it at the same time. And unfortunately, where I was quite calm about the situation, she reacted to it in a much stronger way. Again, we can learn how to choose our emotions and how we react to things, but I suppose when you're 13 years old, that's very, very hard to do, and you can't. They're very much in the moment, and the fight and flight reaction came in for her. Plus, she is awakening. She's starting to see the same things that I see as well at the same time if we're together, and she has separate experiences as well. So I got the this isn't normal, why is this happening to me speech from her. And she's 13, so unfortunately at the moment and I don't actually blame her as well, because I remember doing exactly the same thing when I was a child. If I saw something spooky or I saw something paranormal, I would go into fight or flight mode and I'd shut down. I'd block it out, I would shut down, and that was it. And that's what she tends to do now if something extreme like this happens, where she's seen it without me even pointing it out to her, like, whoa, she will, and she'll get angry about it as well. You know, if I try and explain it in a spiritual way and explain guides and angels to her, sometimes she doesn't, that makes her a little bit angry because it doesn't give her definitive 100% conclusive answers. And I'm a mum, I'm supposed to have all the answers, and unfortunately I don't have all the answers. You know, she was just like, well, is this it? Is this the end of the world or isn't it? And I said, I don't know, love. I really don't know. I said, I very, very much doubt it. I don't think so, you know. But I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of shopping. So, and she's fine now. She's absolutely fine. If anybody's thinking, she is absolutely fine. She was angry. She was upset for a little bit. She did the fight or flight thing. And about an hour after we got home, she was calm again. But when you're actually in that moment, it is difficult. It is really difficult. And I gave her lots of hugs once she'd calmed down, and she's fine now. But she will, if you find that your children as well are starting to wake up, take it as easy as you can with them. They're younger, they don't have as much experience as us, and they may not react to it in the same way. And to them, yes, as it was to us when we were waking up, it's completely foreign, it's completely abnormal to be able to see things and pick up on synchronicities and have guides and angels giving you messages. It's extremely abnormal in the normal world. But seeing as we're all moving into this age of Aquarius, and we're all moving forward and evolving and raising our consciousness, raising our abilities, then it does completely become normal, and more and more and more, each and every one of us will start to have those abilities. And I think it's our responsibility, for those who've woken up before others around you, to really just try and help others through it as best you can. So I'm gonna go. Namaste. I thought you'd find this one interesting, so take care. Okay, bye.